they've got every reason to be excited about it. We spoke yesterday. I think this Celtic squad is possibly the strongest squad that Brendan Rodgers has worked with over his 2 stints at Celtic. When you think about the combined quality and the fact that he can take quality out and replace quality without a big drop off, from whether it's Wednesday night to Saturday, I think there's every reason for Celtic to go into this believing that this season might be different from all the others, because we all know how all the others go. They play quite well for an hour, they burn themselves out, they maybe 1-0 up, probably not, probably 0-0, and then they'll lose the game later on. Whether that's home, whether it's away, that's the formula. But I think and this is where I think he's been so clever, Brendan Rodgers, and this is why Celtic have chosen to back him. We saw examples of that, and Craig Swan has talked about it. We saw examples of, was it the Atletico Madrid game at Celtic Park? Celtic were brilliant for an hour, lost the game. Because when your guys are up against that quality, Champions League quality, they need to empty the tank. You
need to be total.
It's flat out. You need to be going flat out. And you can only go flat out for so long. Eventually, there comes a point in the second half where you actually need to keep the thing fresh. You need to get new legs onto that pitch. And there was a drop-off previously for Celtic.
Understandably.
Of course. What I'm looking at here is a group of players that I'm not sure that there's that drop-off is going to exist. I think you're going to be replacing quality with quality. It's just more high energy. And you might see that the effect of that is that Celtic don't lose games towards the end, as they have made a habit of doing over the years in the Champions League, simply because they now have a manager who, as well as being tactically, gifted, he's now got a squad that I think has been purpose-built to allow him to compete at this level, and then to stay domestically dominant as well. I think Celtic are in a really good place going into this one. And by the way, the cards have been good to them as well, haven't they? The fact that they open up with Slovan Bratislava, the chance to build momentum, to stick 3 points in that board early doors, and just make it feel different from all the other Champions League champions.
Mick, let me throw a couple of these comments at you from listeners. Steve McAteer, what we've seen this season is a team which has made a step up from the last few seasons. This is the time to make an impact in the Champions League. Mara McDonald, we live in eternal hope. For me, we are defending better as a team. If we do that, take chances, we most certainly will create. We'll have a good chance to pick up points. Nick Doran, let's be honest, we've been terrible in Europe for the last 10 years. Hopefully this year we can win a few games and show some progress. And Scott McLaren, who's a regular Celtic fan, simply says they can't beat these teams, they ought to throw the towel in. Nice glass half empty statement. But Mick,
they can't beat this Champions League dross.
I know, but Mick, how do you feel about Celtic?
Lacking duds.
We actually had a piece today on Record Sport Online by Gavin Berry, who's saying that, again, going back to finances,
good.
Celtic squad is worth 20 times more than Bratislava's. So, I mean, they are favourites going into this one on Wednesday, Mick.
They've got to win. Celtic have got. I mean, they haven't won an opening game ever in the Champions League. 12 attempts. They haven't even scored in a Champions League opener in 8 attempts. They've got to win this game. If they want to have any aspirations of doing semi-decent in this competition, they need to beat Slovan Bratislava. Listen, I'm wary that I wouldn't be completely writing this team off either. I mean, they beat Midtjylland in qualification, who are always a kind of a decent enough side, aren't they? They're not going to be. I mean, it's the old thing. They're not going to be mugs, right? They're going to be a decent enough side. But Celtic have to be beating them at home. They could not have handpicked a better opening tie, really.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Mike. That's so. I think it's been kind to them in that way. But the flip side of that coin, Mike, you're absolutely right. If Celtic fail to win that game, then all of a sudden all this excitement and anticipation, and there's a danger they could get the wind knocked right out of their sails on day one. Because this is the game that everybody looks at and says, right, bang, get 3 points in the bag. So, yeah. But I actually fully expect Celtic will win it. But I think Mick's right to point out that it could be a nervy old night. Yeah. Nonetheless, even though I think Celtic will be in good shape, this side will arrive here confident, and you know what these Champions League nights can be like.
Yeah, I think we need to see Celtic showing a maturity in Europe we haven't seen in recent years. I mean, even they're showing glimpses. They had under Ange Postecoglou as well. They had periods of games when they played really well, really slick football when they were in the games. I mean, for the first half against Real Madrid, that kind of thing. Even last year, the Lazio home game, Lazio Madrid at home, periods of against Lazio away. They're good sections of games, but lost daft goals, lost goals back to back in bunches and all that stuff. Men sent off. These moments of naivety really cost them at level. We need to see a Celtic put a complete performance together and a mature performance. This is not going to be the toughest test they'll face, but they need to get this done and get points on the board, and then they can start thinking optimistically. But I think it will be nervy. I think this team aren't going to be pushovers. It's the Champions League. I mean, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean. I think I know you're saying about the flip side of the get beat is a disaster, and there could be all kinds of ramifications. But I think this should be seen as opportunity. It's a cracking draw. They could get any team in Europe in that home game at first.
Slovan Bratislava.
I mean, Celtic have played PSG, Barcelona in the opening games and get leathered.
Right.
They've got Slovan Bratislava at home. Could not have cherry picked a better one. Go and take advantage of it. Make the most of it. Get 3 points on the board and skip into the next game over in Dortmund.
And see what happens when you've got influence in Europe. Well done, Big Pedro.
Conspiracy theorists were right. Just to be fair though, just to finish in Celtic's Champions League draw, Brendan Rodgers will quite rightly say they've got away from home. They've got Aston Villa, really tough game. Last season's Champions League finalists in Dortmund. Last season's Europa League winners in Atalanta. But Mick, it's the home games. You just said it yourself. If Celtic had to cherry pick the 4 games at home, Bratislava, Club Brugge, Dynamo Zagreb.
It's pretty much the lowest ranked team in each section they got for the home games.
They've got to make an impact with those 4 home games.
It's a good side, so let's not
of course.
breaking these teams off. But that's what I'm saying. They could have had an Arsenal, they could have had a PSG, Man City at Parkhead. These teams, they haven't. They managed to dodge them. The away games, I think, are free punches. Dortmund away, Villa away, especially Atalanta away, I think are free digs. Anything's a bonus for the games. Dynamo Zagreb, I think, is an opportunity to get points as well. I think Celtic in the games in Glasgow, they should be aiming for 9 points.
But what they've actually managed to achieve here is, when you look at the home games, it's a Europa League group in the Champions League.
Aye.
These are good teams, but they're more likely to be found in the Europa League than the Champions League. So what an opportunity. As you said, Mick, you look at Atalanta away and all that. I mean, geez,
I think they just shot at dark jobs,
Yeah, but the priority has to be bag as many points at home from these other teams as you possibly can, and I think there is a realistic chance for Celtic to get enough that would allow them to get into the playoff round for. I think that under this new structure, after they're not called group games anymore; they're league games, and after that, it's
playoff
teams going to the last 16. But there would be the opportunity for Celtic to qualify for a playoff.
The middle 8.
Yeah, to then qualify for the last 16. That's got to be the realistic target for this group.